Sorry to cut you guys off in the last video. The Supra needs to be in the trailer on the way to Vegas tonight. As of right now, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I've been here kind of messing with a couple things with a Civic over there, trying to get that thing fully assembled so that way you guys at least know what it looks like. But if you haven't got it in for a chance to win the EK hatch over there, that thing is freaking sick. It's beautiful, and link is in the description. We're not doing any multiplier changes, so every dollar spent on motionroundtv.com is 1 entry, but that is not what this video is about. Last minute trivia here, and huge shout out to the guys over at Fish Racing. They make this insane JZ to CB09 adapter plate. So as of right now, I have another adapter plate that uses the stock bell housing, and what it has in it is a very similar clutch setup, but it's actually a twin disc clutch setup. Initially we had a triple disc. It was an OS Geiken. We had an issue with it. Then we switched to this as kind of a temporary thing. And then we were on Rocky Mountain Race Week. Didn't have any issues with it the whole time, other than we kind of lost like a clutch pressure thing. So we kind of lost clutch pressure for a little bit. So I like underneath the dash right now, there's literally a bungee cord wrapped around the clutch pedal to like give me that spring tension back. So kind of a last minute decision. I was like debating on switching to a T56 Magnum. Best thing that I could see in the moment was to switch over to this adapter plate system right here. That way we could get the better clutch, we get the nicer bell housing adapter. So this thing is beautiful. Not only does it come in this beautiful box with these diagrams and all this stuff on it, like it's like you're getting a piece of jewelry, but it almost is like a piece of jewelry. So this thing is absolutely beautiful. I have a couple buddies running this setup. I think some other cars on the show, Banging Gears, are actually running this pretty much the same setup too. So you can see the integrated Tilton master cylinder right there already in. It has these cool little bulkhead fittings right there. So that is getting ready to go in here. This thing is actually like a piece of jewelry right there. So we got this billet flywheel, a triple disc Tilton clutch with the discs and all that stuff, a billet aluminum tranny cross member. We got a new mount, we have some gaskets, we have some seals, we have some bolts, and they even sent me one of their new JZ oil caps. That's pretty cool. I definitely feel the love from these guys. Everything just comes really packaged, super nice. I already unboxed it because I was just too excited the other day and I wanted to make sure that we had everything that I thought we needed. And I didn't even think we were gonna go ahead and switch to this because technically the one that's in here still works. But now I think, you know, if you got, how many minutes? If you have a couple minutes, you're gonna fill it with stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Isn't that, there's like a theory on that. It's like that if you give yourself a certain amount of time, that is how much time it's gonna take, no matter what. Even if it's gonna take you 3 days to rebuild your car, but you have 30 days to do it before you have to leave for the event, you're gonna use that last 3 days
naturally
to do it.
And technically, I mean, the car started, we're ahead of schedule, right?
Yep, so it started in yesterday's video, so hopefully you guys liked that. This thing sounded pretty cammed and wild. Also, we have a set of 2200cc injectors from the boys over there at Ditchworks. My appreciatory door is wide open for everybody who has been helping me with this project. Even though it wasn't last minute, it kind of turned into some last minute stuff. I think that's just in general how it goes around here, but I'm excited to drive this thing with the triple disc, and we're also going to switch to, this is kind of the cheaper like a GK Tech shifter, and what I actually had in the 2JZ Mustang was the Serial 9 adapter, and so that one right there is gonna be the one that we actually switch to. So we're gonna switch to that. We're figuring it out. Now we gotta drop down my 4-inch exhaust, pull out this drive shaft, and I think we'll have this thing done in what, 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, that's it. So transmission and everything is out. Garrett, what have you found?
Some good, well, we'll call it carnage because it didn't go quite that far, but it was pretty much there.
Yeah, you can see it was just missing that whole piece, missing this piece, that piece, that piece, that piece. On the other side, let's see.
Melted off the disc and welded it back onto one of the floating plates here in between. So
and hopefully that was pretty much the whole reason, is that this was kind of a band-aid fix. You can see I machined it with a flappy disc, and not a flappy disc, it was like Scotch-Brite. It worked, and we did race week with it, and we drag raced, and it's been on the street, and it's done things. But
curious, kind of going back and forth earlier today, like, do we spend our time doing this? Is this important? Having it out now, you kind of see that it was probably pretty important to upgrade.
That was my goal, is I was like, well, I know there's some things in there that'd probably be looked at. So whether we pulled it apart and looked at it and put it back together, we had issues, or we pull it apart and then we upgrade it and we have no issues. That's perfect. Yep, that's the goal.
Mama,
Thank you.
Mama, I gave it to Daddy. Thank you. These are violets, though, so they're not yours. That way it is Daddy. That way it is okay, Daddy. This is own.
Can you put this thing? Can you put this on there? Okay. Twist it a little bit. Okay. Do you think that looks good?
We got this down.
Okay, beautiful. I'm gonna put it about right there, okay? I'll tighten the first one, you tighten the second one, okay? Okay.
Hey, let me do that.
Okay, I'll do this one and then you do the second one, okay? Push. One more time. Push hard. Good job. One more time. Ready? Oh, good job. Does it work? Oh, yeah. Look at that. All right, so here she is. It is officially off of the lift. It is midnight officially, and we gotta be on our way to the dyno at like 6 in the morning, or 7 or 8, or hopefully sometime tomorrow. We're gonna have this thing on the dyno and then head straight to Vegas for the show. So yeah, as of right now, I think what we need to do is just take it for a test drive, kind of bed in the brakes. We have all the new brake pads and all the other stuff. We tried to throw in the 2200cc Deechworks injectors, but I had the wrong connectors. Load a bag of tools, load the car, test drive it, wash it, make sure everything's good, and I guess that's about it. So yeah, let's take this thing for a rip. Took it for its first drive, and it's 20 pounds of boost. Freaking rips. Took my dad for a ride. What do you think?
Rips. Awesome.
I think his first time he's ever been in the Supra. I don't know why it's been done for years.
Yep.
You need to go for a ride in the Civic next, or when this thing makes close to 800 horsepower. So it feels good. It feels super, super good. Air fuels and everything looks super dialed. So I did basically a full pull. It's on 20 pounds of boost. It felt better than it ever has at 20 pounds of boost. So I think those cams up top are just letting it carry, whereas I think before it kind of fell off a little bit with the stock cams. But yeah, it's going in the trailer. Dyno, Vegas. Tired. So getting ready to head out for the night. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. Just wanted to show you guys real quick the Civic, kind of halfway put together. We got the bumper on it, the head, the hood, the headlights, the fenders, those things. Painted the door handles and the front lip and the grill, and a couple other minor little things today. Every dollar spent on MotionAutoTV.com is one entry for a chance to win this thing. So head over there, check it out. I'm tired. It's gonna be a long 2 days. Looks like it survived the drive up. So let's see if this thing will make some jam on the dyno. Pulled in, and it is on Steve's dyno. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
So the last time you tuned this thing, how many years ago was that?
It's got to be 5 years now.
I think.
Yeah, it's like 5.
Pretty sure it's 5 because we started building it in 16, 18 we tuned it, and then 19 it was at SEMA, and then it's been driven around lightly since then. That was on the other dyno, Mustang dyno. It made 580.
I think that's it. I really don't remember the number exactly, but
yeah. So how does this one compare to that one as far as?
From what I've seen, and we've had a couple of cars that we put on this dyno and took straight over to a Mustang dyno, mine reads about the same.
The biggest changes, I guess, is the drive-by-wire and the cams. I mean, other than that, it's kind of the same. Obviously, we did the transmission and stuff last night. What do you think that's going to pick up the power with the
mid-range? With the S1 cams, the mid-range should stay the same, but we'll be able to rev it out now.
Yeah.
Because the stock 2J cams fall off at 7,200 RPMs. So with these, we can make power. As long as everything else is there, you can make power to 9,000 on these.
And then, so this is obviously on full DeechWorks fuel system. We have twin DW300 pumps in there. We have 8 AN lines running all the way to the front. DeechWorks fuel pressure regulator. Actually, no, that's a Radium fuel pressure regulator, because I don't think DeechWorks had the 2J rail when I built this thing, because it's been so long. We have the Garrett GTX 3584 RS with a 1.1 V-band exhaust housing. Coil radiator, ECU Master EMU black, wiring specialties harness. What do you think for power?
I'm gonna say 830 at 28 pounds.
The best time I ran on stock cams was 10.9 at 135, and that was at 32 pounds.
I'll wake up.
I think I mean, I drove it last night with the 20 pounds on the cams, and it felt way better than it ever has, like at least in the 20-pound range. I guess the other setup that we have is the wiring specialties harness. We now have this drive-by-wire, but we also have a vehicle speed sensor to the front wheels too. So now traction control, that's gonna be a big thing, kind of setting some of that stuff up. This time around, I actually have the BTI CAN gauge in here, which we can do traction control settings on that, boost control settings on that as well. So we're gonna let Steve do his thing, hop on the laptop, start clacking away.
Yes,
see what this thing does. It's been too long since I've driven this thing or did anything, and I've never had it like on a racetrack. It's honestly gonna be scary. Like going from like the fastest thing, like driving the 350Z at like 10 tenths, and it makes 200 horsepower or 240, whatever 350Z makes. Then going to my Z06 Corvette, which makes like, let's say 550, to this thing, which is gonna make like 800 on a road course. That's gonna be, that's gonna be wild.
Yeah, you'll have, that's gonna be a lot of power for a road
it's
on a car that's not that great at road courses.
It's probably gonna get turned down for the road. I mean, but again, that's why we have that button. We could just go boop, 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 and then, or turn up the traction control settings or whatever it is. We're gonna get it figured out. I'm just stoked to see this thing on the dyno, and as soon as it's done here, straight to Vegas. 77 horsepower and 690 foot-pounds of torque. You can see we got some things happening right there, especially bringing in the torque this soon. Look at that, 3,800 RPMs. Basically right at 44, we're at 600 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty freaking crazy. So Steve's over here. What do you think of that?
That's a good number.
So that was what, like 26 pounds of boost?
26 pounds, yep. It's more like 24 and then kind of creeping up at the end there.
Yeah.
So
We're trying to keep that torque out of it. Obviously stock rods, we don't want to go crazy. People have made 1,000 horsepower, but they make 1,000 horsepower at the top.
yeah, right at the top.
They don't make it in the middle because you don't want to do that.
That's bad news.
She's gonna do it. Couple more pounds. This thing's been on 33 pounds or 32 or whatever with the stock cams. Now we have the upgraded cams here now, so now it should be able to actually, it's probably actually making less boost almost.
It's not wasted power now. Yeah. So like we were just talking about, I think the S1 is the best cam for 1,200 and under.
Pull, we made 791 horsepower and 711 foot-pounds of torque.
It's a little much.
That's quite a bit for a stock 2J. The 2J that can. You might have heard in that pull was a little bit of ignition breakup, which is probably blowing out the spark, right?
Yes.
So we did switch back to these original, like the coils that might have came in this engine from the factory from Toyota like 20 some years ago, right? We put those back in there with some new wires because I made a mistake when I ordered the Wiring Specialties harness. I didn't do the sequential, even though it was set up for sequential. I don't know what was wrong with me. Yeah, the plan was either switch over to the R35 GTR coils with the PRP kit, or I had like some LS truck coil kit that we had on here previously, so it was sequential. Now we're back to batch, so we're making way more power with less ignition stuff. So
we have reared its ugly head.
I'm a silly goose, and it was fine at 777 horsepower, but at 790.
Hey, how you doing? Yep. Favorite hoodie ever.
Nice hoodie,
Period.
right?
Story. Do you have any more on the website?
What do you think of that right there?
I think that is a respectable number.
Yeah.
That'll put you in a very competitive position.
I think so too. Especially, I think out of all the, I mean, supercars sound good though. So I was gonna say like this one's gonna sound the best, but like it's they're all gonna sound.
The one you're racing is what, a twin turbo V8?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like high revving, flat plane crank, twin turbo V8. That sounds pretty damn good. But 2J.
2J.
Who doesn't love a 2J?
Who doesn't love a 2J?
Even the guy in the other car.
Yeah, the other guy is gonna like the 2J too. So we made our number 796 officially. So now it's coming off the dyno, and we're gonna mess with the speed signal. We're gonna change the oil real quick, and then load it in the trailer and head to Vegas. I've said that a couple times.
How many times have you said load it up in the trailer and go to Vegas?
Load up in the trailer and go to Vegas. So if we haven't changed the oil in this thing since I put it together, which you guys may or may not like that, but it only has about 2,000 miles in 5 years. Original, I mean, it's just, we're changing out its original oil. We're putting in some fresh oil. I asked Steve what he recommended. He said this stuff right here. So Schaefer's 2050. I also forgot my laptop, so she drove up here today. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, thank you for the oil. Vehicle speed sensor. As soon as I hooked up the front sensor, the rear sensor stopped reading for some reason. So now we don't have a VSS, which means that our launch control, basically when we're at the drag strip, it turns off at 3 miles an hour. Whereas if I sit there and I'm on the two-step and I go to launch, as soon as it sees 3 miles an hour, it comes off of the two-step and lets me go to full RPM. Whereas right now, it essentially just holds us at 4,000 RPMs or 4,400 RPM. Pop, 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 pop. So I'd never be able to like actually like launch, drag race, do all the things. So this kind of happened last night. I thought that we'd be able to kind of figure it out today. But just kind of working through it now. I don't know, the front speed sensor is working, but the rear speed sensor is not working now. And I don't know why. The only thing they really share is the sensor ground. So unless I had the polarity backwards and I like messed up the sensor or something like that, but I don't know, I'm gonna mess with it for a little bit more and see if we can figure it out. All right, so the launch control wasn't working because we didn't have a driven, like a vehicle speed sensor. Like something happened with the sensor. So I basically did a virtual output, a virtual parametric output in the ECU that basically told it that to turn the launch control off via output based upon this can switch button, based upon the wheel speed off of the undriven wheel speed sensor, which is the front one, which works.
It works now.
It works.
That's it. That's it. It works.
So we're just gonna do like a little baby roll. Like tires are cold. It's cold outside. This thing is, it's a Supra. It just made 800 horsepower on the dyno. Also, it's boost by speed based upon the front. So it doesn't actually hit full boost until 100 miles an hour.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that third Monster Freight Train. You can feel it. Oh!
We just did a
little skid?
We did the skid. Well, tires are cold. They do the grease skid.
Oh, yeah.
So once these things are warmed up on the track, this thing is going to be insane. I just can't believe that I'm going to take this thing out on making 800 horsepower on a road course. That's what's kind of wild to me. So, all right, guys, we just took the car for a rip around the block. We finally got the vehicle speed sensor thing figured out. This thing's insane. Like, I don't even know how it's gonna feel. Like, I wasn't even like giving it the beans. Like, I just kind of was rolling into it just a little bit around here. Cold tires, you know. I don't want to turn into another Supra. I just want to say a huge shout out to Steve at Divulge Motorsports for always helping me out. It's always this last minute stuff. I'm just like, you know, up until 3 in the morning, up here at 10 in the morning, like on the dyno until 4 in the afternoon, you know, figuring out things. Obviously taking time and stuff out of his day. If you guys could do me a huge favor and head over to his Instagram, it's Divulge Motorsports. He's actually been talking about Facebook and Instagram Reels. So he's gonna post his first reel once he reaches 1,000 followers, which he's only 40 away. But I'd like to get him to 1,500 followers by the end of the week. I think that's nice.
I think
awesome.
we can do that.
500 followers for helping me out on the dyno and always giving me a pinch. He's gonna be posting stuff like, obviously you can see this Evo 8 right here. It's kind of a simpler setup, but he's tuning it, making 360 horsepower and like 400 foot-pounds of torque. But this is pretty much what he does. He does a bunch of stuff around the shop, builds Supras, wires them, tunes them, builds the engines, pretty much does everything. He's kind of a one-man show.
Yeah, he also runs interference for a lot of FD teams as well.
I do. He has 11 cars that he's tuning this year in FD, which is insane.
It's like off the pack.
That's crazy. So pretty insane. And so you're probably going to be at a lot of the FD rounds.
Yep. FD.
So I don't know if we need to like tell any FD teams to like talk to you because you're probably on the edge. You got too many things to do. But yeah, Steve is the man, and I always appreciate him opening the shop and helping me out. So let's get this thing loaded up. Head to Vegas.